Exactly on time, 6:30. Thank you, Troy. Addison, it's nice to see you here this evening.
I'm all alone.
I would like to call attention to the newly adopted Guilford Selectboard Rules of Procedure. And we've talked about these a couple of meetings. They are now on the website so that if people want to review the agenda, you'll see them at the top of the agenda page. They are circulated together with the list of the public so that people can refer to them in a folder under.
Can I ask a question? I assume that rules of procedure won't be on every agenda.
They're not. It's not.
Okay, but that's on there because.
But it's a reminder.
Right, okay.
Well, it might be on the agenda.
I think it should be expanding.
Just sort of to remind
people. Just remind the public there's rules of procedure governing.
Do you want to, then would you assume that at every meeting you would sort of do a recap of what they are? It seemed a little, I was surprised to see it on there again, so that's all I was wondering.
Sounds a little redundant, but
yeah.
We could
it may
maybe
be,
say...
and it might be usul to do it for a couple of weeks, yeah. Or a couple of, a few different meetings, just, you know, at random, just to see what we...
And it might be that you come up against a cycle of meetings where you need to remind them.
Right. Correct. If there were a special or a heated topic, I think, I'm not sure I would, yeah, okay. Good choice.
So, they are also posted in the town office.
And we adopted them.
They've been adopted,
so
right.
You've got draft on there, but they're finalized.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll have a copy on the table at every meeting if you needed to reference them.
That's my copy. I'm checking things off as we go. Are there new additions to the agenda this evening?
I don't have any.
No.
I guess I do. Under old business, I'll put the Belagore and just share that conversation.
Okay. Are there changes to the agenda order? No. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of January 25th, 2016.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next item is the approval of the minutes for January 29th, which was our very brief special meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, old business, and you would like to report on your conversation with
I just got a call. I got a call from a woman who lives in Bernardston, and it's not really specifically germane to Guilford. She is a abutter to some property bought by a couple named the Belagores. They also own property in Guilford. The reason I brought it up, they're doing those campsites up on the Stony Hill Road, remember those?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I brought it up tonight is only, she was curious just for her own purposes because she has some concerns about what their plans may or may not be in Bernardston. And she was just wondering about what was going on in Guilford. The reason I'm bringing it up tonight is because I thought we had it on the agenda to talk with them, and then I couldn't remember if they couldn't make it to our meeting or we ended up with a heavy agenda, but it sort of slipped off the agenda. I don't know if it still feels like something we want to get an update from them on what their plans are. We don't have zoning. I'm not sure there's much that we can require. They've crossed their T's and dotted their I's, so maybe there's no reason to talk about it. I just wanted to, it had been on it.
Would you like to add to that?
I would love to. I've been emailing with Christina Belagore, who is the wife of the husband-wife team who is doing this project, trying to get them on an agenda where the husband is present. He travels quite a bit, so they were supposed to be on. We had a really beefy meeting, so they got moved to the next one. He ended up having to travel, so we've been going back and forth, and the ball's sort of in their court to let me know when they can both be available to come.
And I think it'd be just good so that as people ask the town, the select board can inform people of it. So thanks. That's all. It's just an update.
Thank you. Nice to see you here, Matt. Perfect timing. Green River project bid opening. Green River Covered Bridge project bid opening. Is one next item on the agenda.
So does he know he's up? Yeah.
Perfect, yes.
Do you want to take your jacket off, or?
This won't take too long, right? You writing these down, Katie?
I'm gonna record them in the minutes.
Yeah, okay. So this is from Neil Daniels and Company. Received at 1:51 today.
That was close to the wire.
What
was the wire? 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. The total. So the enterprise in words, 456,452.
456, 452?
Yeah. And 0 cents.
That was Daniels.
It was Daniels. And I should preface this by all the proposals will be reviewed by Hoyle and Tanner in terms of unit costs and make sure that everything's in order from a qualification standpoint as well. I believe all of the, well, we'll see, but confirmation that they are all on the pre-qualified list for V-Trans is also a requirement. And this is from Renaud Brothers.
Pre-qualified contractor list, but not the covered bridge list. Did you read
Not-
that email?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Today?
right,
Okay.
not the
Just to
cover.
clarify.
Yep. Renaud Brothers received today at 12:45.
Oh, you guys wait on something?
He's been sitting on my desk all day.
Total base bid of $542,004.00. With the contract certification form and the bid bond, which Daniels had as well, just in the same package. So. And the last one, correct? 3, Katie?
Yep.
Last one is from Wright Construction. Delivered at 9:30 this morning. And they do have the certification form and the bid bond. Total base bid of $440,156.25.
440?
440,156.25. So again, these will be reviewed by Hoyle and Tanner to make sure that they're all on the pre-qualified, not the covered bridge list, as well as unit price and everything else would be in order. So, and I don't know if, Katie, did you talk to Sean about when you might be able to turn that around? Okay.
Yeah.
Is he going to do it before our meeting tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm gonna scan them after the meeting's over and send all of the whole package to him, so he'll have it electronically. But it doesn't, the selection committee is just weighing in on the construction inspection services proposals.
Okay.
So do you want to read off them again, Katie, or not?
Sure, and just sort of formally say that Wright Construction Company appears to be the apparent low bidder based on
yes.
what was submitted. Neil H. Daniels Incorporated, bid amount of $456,452. Renaud Brothers Incorporated, bid amount of $542,004. And Wright Construction Company, bid amount $440,156.25.
So then the process is Sean James reviews them, reviews their qualifications, and makes a final decision. Do we as a board need to wait until our next meeting to?
Formally accept an engaging contract, right?
Yeah, but assuming everything's in order,
Yeah.
then it would be the low bid.
Does that conclude that portion of our business?
No, it was very, very huge. It was actually. It's about
I can say how my day went.
How are the roads?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that momentous piece of work.
I know. Thank Katie and everyone else.
Evening.
It's it's gonna be a great project.
We'll see you tomorrow.
That's right. Here at 2 o'clock.
I emailed a Dropbox link
Okay.
with proposals. Do you want to take a hard copy with you? You can take one
Yeah,
set.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Matt, one just clarifying question. I was surprised to hear at our last meeting and pleased that it looked like that the barn closure, the bridge closure would only have to be between, over school vacation time. Because I thought I'd remembered that we had said we can't guarantee that, they might have to start as early as the beginning of June or the end of May. But it sounds like from the bid specifications that these guys all said we'll be able to do prep setup and stuff like that, but the actual closure of the bridge will take place.
Yeah, that
And do you remember that there was a time when we were thinking, remember that time? That we
it
were-
was, yeah, they've kind of narrowed it down to about roughly a 2.5 month,
Okay.
maybe 2 3/4
Yeah,
month.
I mean, I'm thrilled.
project.
I just was pleased to hear that,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. There is work that can be done when the bridge is still
Sure.
open. Like they keep the bridge open and they do the guardrails, they do the drainage and the culvert installation on the church side of the bridge, the grading, the approach. They can do a lot of
Yeah,
that.
no, I think
and
that,
keep the bridge open.
I think it's all great. I just
Yep.
remembered that when we had been talking about it earlier, it seemed like that might not be something we were
Yeah.
able to achieve, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. So, and they could, so they're just, when is the last day of school this year? Like mid-June, something like that?
20th of June, I believe.
I'll bet it's gonna be,
It could be before if we
Could
don't
be
use the
before.
snow days.
yeah, yeah,
Right, okay, so that's gonna move around a little bit.
a little bit,
But, yeah, so you have all the rest of June and July and then
Mhm.
most of August.
Yeah, at least the first 3 weeks
Yeah.
of August, so it's a fair amount.
Yeah,
Good.
and then
Okay.
when the contractor comes on board, whoever that may be, it's, you can sit down with them and they can
Mhm.
work out a schedule
Good,
uh,
okay.
to really get into details.
And you guys don't have any weddings this summer, right?
The bicycle people are gonna be in contact with the
Oh, okay.
contractor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they're, I guess about 5 days before the contractor has to finish, when the bike ride is.
oh,
They're gonna have 1,400 bikers this year.
right,
So otherwise, they've gotta split it like they did
yeah.
last time.
Well, thank you.
I beat you, Dick.
Could have called that. My truck's still sitting in Main Street. Battery dead.
Oh, you're kidding? How'd you get here? Hitchhike?
No, yeah.
On a snowflake.
One car went by that I knew who it was.
Oh, God, that's lucky.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Very much, appreciate it.
Yeah, that's too
No
bad.
man's fault.
Yeah.
So maybe just because Dick walked in, you could just tell him what the low bids, the bids are again. We're up to the Green River Covered Bridge project
Bid
bid opening,
opening?
and you we already did the 3 openings, so Katie could read to you what they were.
You ready? We got Neil Daniels was one, Renaud was the second, and Wright Construction was the third. Neil Daniels was 456,452. Renaud Brothers was 542,004, and Wright Construction was 440,156.25. So Wright is the apparent low bidder.
And he's worked on that bridge before.
Yeah, actually, Wright is the construction company who did it back in the 90s, so they seem to have a repeat performance going on.
The next item on the agenda is the town meeting warning, assignment of articles, and thank you for coming, Addison.
Good night.
Thanks, Addison.
I have two of these for some reason. Did somebody
I have
have
my own that I wrote, I already wrote notes on, so. Katie reminded
It's
us.
slick up there. It's getting slick up there.
I didn't even want. It was fine.
There was, but he's been here more recently, right?
Yeah, I just came in.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Katie reminded us that Articles 1 through 4 will be moved from the floor, or handled by Neil and moved by somebody in the audience.
It's Rick Seymour.
Oh! Rick Seymour, yeah. And then we start with Article 5, and our goal tonight is to agree who's going to move each article, and then to sign up for the ones that we feel comfortable talking about or representing to the community. So I see that article...
And do you assume there, Sheila, excuse me for interrupting, if you're moving the article, you're going to also be speaking to it when you said...
Not necessarily. Okay. I see that for the first example is where Katie has possibly suggested that Dick might want to move the highway budget, and that either Dan would speak to it or maybe me. So
I think any of us would be comfortable.
You're right. So if we agree with that, can we go on to Article 6, which would be...
Sure.
Okay. The general fund expenditures.
I'll do that one.
And I was thinking that Ian might want to do that.
Sure.
And then Ian or I can talk about it.
Sure. Or anybody, really. Yeah.
Anyone?
Generally speaking, we've kind of chimed in, but I think one of us has taken the lead.
Do you do sort of introductory remarks and then make comments?
So I'll give like notes in there, and it's whoever wants to.
And then somebody can chime in, yeah.
On Article 7, it's $4,200 for Guilford Cares.
I'll do that one.
Is that the same as last year? And it's the second of a three year?
The second of the 3 year,
Yeah,
usually Richard's there to speak about it.
Okay.
Or not Richard, but
Leah?
Leah.
Yeah.
Shall we ask her if she wants to do that? Is that the normal?
I think she'll probably be there anyway.
Okay.
She'll probably be there since she has to do the petition and everything like that.
Right. Article 8 would be talking about the membership in the Wyndham Regional Commission and appropriating the sum of $3,957.
And frequently Bill Murray has moved it. Dick has spoken to it sometimes. They're both members. And I think that Bill has often spoken about the value, I think, and we have select board members have talked about it too. So I would, I'd be happy to email Bill, meet it, ask if he wants to move that.
$30,000. Article 9, $30,000 for the library.
Sure.
Can do that. Gabby, you'll move it?
And they'll speak to it. Or, and
I think
very
Richard
often.
Wyzanski will probably speak to it.
Right, and very often a library board member moves it as well. Yeah,
Okay, so
we don't even really need to have to move it.
No?
No.
No, not usually one of them will move it right away.
Yeah.
Is the same true for the fire department?
Same with them, they usually move.
They usually move their
Okay.
those articles.
Man. $66,300 for home health, maternal and child health, and hospice care provided in patient's home.
Now, this is not a new one, but it's a new amount, is that correct?
It is.
Correct.
It's $500
Does that
more
make
than
you-
in the past.
Yeah, I don't know, is that making, no, that's not.
No, it's not
Who
looking.
is that?
I
Do you know who
don't
did
know.
the petition? I don't know.
I don't know specifically who the
I mean, I'm
person
happy,
was.
I don't know much about it, I'm happy to move the article, but what I think I would do is just wait, and sometimes you see a hand there from the floor.
I mean, we can, what I'll do is provide notes in here.
Okay,
So that if
great.
you needed to
Sure.
explain that it's a $500 increase over
And
last
then I
year.
would just
and
say,
it's
is there
a
anybody
petition
here from
item.
the organization who'd like to speak to
Yep,
it?
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
You could have put an elephant in the
I could, all right,
Should shoot you.
but I might.
Does
It's not the
anybody want
first
to,
time.
does anybody want to sort of take it on to,
I put my name by it.
okay.
Human Services in the amount of $13,080.
Sure, I can do.
Gabby
You got one.
and me.
Are you talking about Article 13? or
Yes,
Article-
12.
Okay.
So Article 13 is $4,000 for the Recreation Commission. So would you like to move from the floor?
Eric and Wendy, do you want to move that article? It's pretty random in terms of who does, it's just opening up the discussion. But sometimes as, because you had circulated the petition with some other people, you might want to, or you might want somebody else to move the article. It's kind of just symbolic, so,
We'll be there.
okay,
I'm
great.
just not sure of that process or how
Sure,
it would look.
yeah.
We'll be there.
If you don't speak up, I will, or.
You might get called upon, just,
Yeah.
they can prompt you.
Yeah. And then as the discussion comes about, you'll probably want to speak to it a little bit. And Article 14, collecting taxes through the treasurer without discount.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
That's boilerplate.
Yeah, that's
Boilerplate, been there.
Anyone?
Anyone? Troy, your turn.
Yeah, I'll take it. I got broad
Okay.
shoulders.
15, another no-brainer, provide notice of availability of the annual report.
Well, that one's a
No, that is not a no-brainer.
Oh,
That one's a new, that's
That's
asking
a
the
new one.
voters
That's
to.
asking them.
Oh, I'm
mail
so
the
sorry.
town
I thought it was.
report. Yeah, that one actually is.
was- Yes, okay. I should probably talk to it because I see.
Why don't you move it, Sheila? Yeah.
Sounds good.
And then the last one you don't need to worry about.
And then would it be our assumption that we would do the same, that we would take kind of point on these at pre-town meeting as well?
So I'll work on fattening up bullet points for each article
That'd be great.
of high points, and I'll email that out to everybody. Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is creation of a recreation commission for the town. After our discussion at the last select board meeting, Katie and I worked on a draft to document about the creation of a recreation commission. The draft outlines the purpose, the goals, and the proposed structure. And this
Is
was
this what's also in here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
This was circulated to everybody last week.
For you to start signing it.
Oh,
Go
okay.
this way.
After we worked on the draft, we met with Wendy Stone, Eric Jones, and Michael Alexander to review the document in the process. It seems like everybody's pretty happy with it. And if you all have had a chance to read it and in our agreement, and are in agreement, if there's no discussion, I'll be seeking a motion to accept and formally create the recreation.
Well, I'll make the motion to approve the creation of a recreation commission for the town of Guilford pursuant to the language that's been created in this document.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I have a quick question. It says in the document that the majority of the commissioners must be residents of Guilford. Is that common to have non-residents in
I was interested in that as
the,
well.
like the planning commission? I'm just thinking of our planning commission, cemetery commissions.
Well, in the planning commission and cemetery commission, they're required to be residents. I want to say in the conservation commission, I think a majority of them have to be residents. And that's why I picked and suggested to Sheila that maybe a majority of them be residents, which leaves the opportunity to sort of grasp talent from other towns if there were people that were not residents, or maybe once were residents of Guilford and don't live here anymore, that they could come back and participate and bring talent in a way that maybe, that was just
Yeah.
a suggestion.
The other thing I
It's a
could
little more
see
flexible.
is like if there were a family where there were you know, a couple, and they were divorced, and somebody had been a part of Guilford and had moved out and wanted to still be involved with this.
I'm thinking to make this work, you're gonna have to have all surrounding towns involved. It's not enough population in Guilford to make this thing work.
Might be
So
true.
I think you need to get,
Yeah, that's a good
to
point.
have,
Right.
Eric, did you want to speak to this at all, or? I mean, you may be tired of speaking to us about this.
Yeah, I think we're
Just
good.
thankful mostly. We really appreciate you putting this forward, and it works wonderful. It's really a great compromise, I think, over where we were trying to get to. So we appreciate. Thank you for doing this.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed?
I will
The
sign
motion
this.
is passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for your work on this, Katie. Thank you and Michael and Lisa for their work on this. I think you've made great strides. Really appreciate the energy and the dedication you brought to this.
Quick question, Sheila, do we have to appoint people, or is that going to be next
We
meeting?
will have to appoint people. We have 3 or 4 volunteers so far.
I would assume that you would appoint
And
them
maybe-
after town meeting, if we do all the other appointments, that would be my assumption. Yeah.
The next item on the agenda is the memo of understanding regarding the collector of, do I need to sign it?
Yes.
Collector of delinquent taxes. I just wanted to note that, as Katie indicated in her note to us, this memorandum has been approved by the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. Sorry, the elements of the memorandum have been approved by the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. And I wanted to, we have in our documents, a spreadsheet that shows uncollected taxes as a percentage of budgets, and I thought it was notable for 2 things. Regardless of the amount of uncollected taxes, which were at a high of 28.2% in 2014, and are at a low of 17.6% in fiscal year 2016. The only budgets that are subject to underfunding are the general fund and the highway fund budgets. All the other funds in town are funded 100%. So that they're not, nobody else except for those 2 budgets are impacted by under-collected taxes.
Correct. Yeah.
So I thought that, I mean, as a member of the public beforehand, this was not something that I was aware of, and I thought people might be interested in understanding the impact.
Well, they're kind of the only ones we really have full control over.
Right.
Yeah.
We have control over. The other thing is Pete prepared this very nice memo of, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, Dick, I'll pass it around if you want, that shows the amount of taxpayers in arrears and the progress made between the amount due on 2014 and currently.
Did they email that out?
I don't think
It was page 2 of the document. So you had to actually open the spreadsheet up and go to page 2.
Okay.
What's
There's 2
interesting
tabs in it.
here is that,
Sorry.
I'll pass this around, 22% of the 35
Oh, there, there.
Oh, no.
are now paid in
Sorry,
full.
I should have indicated that.
22% of the 35 who have been arrears are paid in full. 40% are now under lien. 31% are in agreements to pay and are, I don't know if Dick wants to see those, and are following the payment schedule. So it's the memorandum of understanding that is,
We need to approve that.
we need to approve that. And I would seek a motion to accept it as written.
I thought it was a nice collaborative effort, by the way, that memorandum of understanding. I thought it was well done. And I like that it was obviously specific to the people involved, so that if there is a change in personnel, it needs to be reworked. That made sense to me. I'd move to accept the memorandum, or approve the memorandum of understanding in terms of the collection of delinquent taxes, or the collector, the role of the collector of delinquent taxes.
Thank you. Is there a second, Troy?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Dick, I don't hear you. Are you in favor or all
Yeah,
opposed? Aye?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm
It is
thinking
passed.
about a truck in the middle of the street.
Uh,
More like hell out.
Passed unanimously.
Want to ride back down?
Kathy, wait.
Do you mind signing?
Please. I appreciate you asking me again.
The next item on the agenda, Katie will explain to us. It is SEVCA Public Board Member Reappointment, because I don't know what this is.
There are public members that are on the SEVCA board, which is Southeastern Vermont Community Action. And Lisa Pitcher was who the board had appointed in the past, and her term expired, and she would like to be reappointed, and SEVCA would very much like her to be reappointed. So this is just
So she is
reappointing her. She's
Who is she?
She lives on Slate Rock Road.
She's a Guilford resident?
Oh, yeah.
And what is the function? Just,
Southeastern Vermont Community Action is a sort of area-wide organization, so she's operating as a board member, representing Guilford.
And SEVCA does such programs as the weatherization program. It helps people weatherize their home and do energy audits who have maybe some income challenges. Helps with affordable housing doing weatherization, and other, that's just some.
Good. Thank you.
What's your name?
Lisa Pritchard?
Lisa Pitchard?
Your name is
Pitcher.
Maria.
Well, you appointed her before. So it might sound familiar from that.
It might be.
Did you just move?
No, just.
I moved to reappoint her, but I'm going to tell you, I don't remember appointing anybody to the SEVCA board.
Me
I'm just going to
either.
go right out there and say that.
You did, yeah. No, I do
It's not the
remember
first
you
thing I don't
guys
remember.
in my last hit around that she had expressed interest in doing it and asked. And it wasn't an appointment that you've historically made. This was the first one in history that I could see that.
Well, then I feel a little better.
So it was, her last appointment was the first one.
Okay. So I do move to reappoint her if she needs to happen now. I assume not after town meeting.
Nope, now.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Is there any discussion or updates?
I have one thing, and I'm not going to go into it tonight because it's snowing, but I have serious concerns about the email I got about $400 it's costing the town to send me hard copies. I did some math and did some research this morning, and I don't come anywhere near coming up with that figure, and besides that, as a taxpayer, I'm a, you know.
Okay, we can share the figures with you.
Okay, also as a cost saving, and remember a few years ago when we had a list that was coming in and working when the office was closed? We decided that there might be a cost savings if when the office is closed, it's closed. I don't know how far we went with that. I know we talked about it.
I mean, we may have discussed it. I think it was more about, I mean, I remember the issue of working from home for that lister, and there were all kinds of, a can of worms that were open, but I don't really.
I know it was, he was coming in at night and.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah,
A long time ago,
a different lister than the one you're talking about. And that, I don't think that email was.
It wasn't circulated to everybody.
I don't know.
No, it wasn't circulated.
So should I capture that in minutes, or there's no action, correct?
But it
There's
is
no
now.
action. Highway. Danny's not able to be here tonight.
They're plowing,
Have they plowing?
well, it's something right now.
Salting.
Blowing off like a dam.
I talked to Danny this noon, earlier today. He and Alan were on their way back from Jericho with the new truck. And Danny had done all the paperwork in Morrisville. The 1 ton is going to be repaired on Friday, and generally other things are fine.
Okay.
Katie, did you have a weight permit?
Yep. Sorry. There's one from Barrett Trucking and there's one from Velco, both with the usual restrictions. Anybody who wants to move those?
I'll move them. We sign and approve both Barrett Trucking and Velco's use of our roads, excepting the Green River Covered Bridge, and the dirt roads during mud season as appropriate, depending on the size of their vehicles.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Katie, did you want to talk about the payment schedule for Bridge 64 on Hale Road?
Sure. Actually, do you mind passing these down to Dick to sign? There is, Renaud is giving you the option of whether you want to pay the bridge in full for $123,500 for Bridge 64, or if you want to do installments over a 2-year period. I don't know how you all feel about it.
And what would the installments be over a 2-year period? Would there be interest in-
61,750 due at completion, and then balance due 24 months later.
No interest.
No.
No.
When would the first payment be due?
Upon completion of the bridge.
And I would strongly go with the 2-year plan myself. I mean, it's because we don't know what's coming down the road. And we do have money in a lot of trust, but
It's interesting. I was thinking of doing the 1-year plan for that same reason, but I would, I don't feel strong.
I was gonna suggest that you pay it all at once since you have the money, and that way we don't have to break it between 2 fiscal years for our audit.
I also thought it was really nice of Mike Renaud to offer that.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I think it's been really, his whole way of dealing with that thing has been really nice. So I thought, personally, and this is just thinking, if we could afford to just pay it off, I would do that. But that's not based on any sense of anything other than that. But just as a
Well, we can
courtesy.
afford to pay it off.
Yeah, there's money to pay it off. I would just,
Yeah, I think that would be my sense of doing that then. Just because I'd like to get that kind of off the books, and he's been great.
I did tell Regional Commission to take it off the books out there, because it's been on their books for
So this would fall into fiscal year 2016 because we would do the bridge this year. He's probably going to construct it already, and
I
then
don't think it completes. I asked Danny today, he said it would finish up in July. So it would
Oh.
actually hit
Oh,
fiscal
okay.
year 17.
But there's rollover.
yeah, no, we have the money. Yeah, we actually have the money for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're gonna build it down there at the shop.
I'm
Right,
building
I
it
know.
now.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, and chuck it right up there.
right. Okay.
So I guess I would, do we need a motion on this, or is it just?
Yeah, we do.
I would make a motion that we pay it off as soon as we've got it, just, and thank Renaud for his flexibility.
Mhm.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Troy?
Yeah.
I second it.
Yeah, you said.
I won't second it unless I'm in favor.
Do you want to just
How's that working out?
I'll just do a handwritten note that says we'll pay one payment in full upon completion. Thank you.
Excuse me, the next item is the final FEMA payment. FEMA.
I know, I thought that was cute, you said FEMA.
FEMA payment.
This is the final one for Irene, and it was the amount of $74,824.66.
One more time.
This is payment
To
to
us.
us.
To
Yes,
us
thank
for
you.
the final, so just to give a little background, there were 5 large projects that were remaining beyond. We got paid for all of our other projects. There were probably 20 of them that we received. They were considered small projects, so we were paid straight up from FEMA. And the ones that were large projects, they had to go through and basically audit all of them. So this is the final payment. It's the 17th payment that we received. And it is the final, and then we'll do the closeout, so.
74,000.
$74,824.66.
What was the name of the woman that we hired to help us find?
Christina Moore.
Christina Moore.
Moore
And,
Petrol.
yeah, and so, I mean, my sense is that some of this payment, how much did we totally receive? 74 plus, I mean, wasn't it close to $500,000?
She got us a whole bunch of money.
She actually didn't get as much as the projects added up to.
Okay.
So, but it was still a significant chunk of money that her fee was taken out of, and well worth it, so.
I didn't know if it made sense to thank her, or if it's just kind of business
We
time.
thank you, we paid it twice.
Nothing
All right.
says thank you like a
Yeah.
dollar sign, right?
Right. So do we need a motion to?
No, it's just information. I
Yes.
just,
Yeah,
I
okay,
just
thank you.
wanted to tell you that we're at the end of the road.
At the end of the FEMA road, that's been a long road.
Almost 8 crooked years.
No,
No.
4. 2011. remember.
Oh,
It's the
yeah,
same time.
11.
Yeah.
Time
flies.
Gabby, are you doing the warrants tonight, or is Troy?
Oh.
I think I'll do the warrants. I would like to make the following motion that we pay payroll for 1/31 of 16 for $5,917.42. Payroll for 2/7/16 for $6,098.97. Expense warrant 16/15 for $19,754.40 for a grand total of $31,770.79.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a, or go ahead, did you want to answer issue, question? No.
Yeah, I just had a question about one of the, I think you have it, Ann, one of
Yep, I
the
do.
bills, and it had to do with the Weatherhead Hollow road work, and we received another bill, and I just was wondering if we could get clarification as to what the bill was, and if it was the final payment, and if it was consistent with the bid.
I think it was more, I mean, I think the concern was it was more than the bid. The bid had been for the center road, and so there were some questions about the amount and the tie-in and the...
And whether it was the last one and what was the work.
Side work.
Right. So what I had suggested, or what I thought I'd suggested to Gabby is perhaps we've moved and seconded the warrant, and maybe we approve it contingent on, you know, Danny explaining to you that process. You got some information, but having a conversation so that we don't hold that bill up for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could report back to us, Katie, next, the next meeting.
Or Gabby, whoever, you know, I don't know if you want
Okay.
Gabby, because she does want to raise the question.
Okay.
So do
So,
I need to amend my motion?
Amendment?
I don't think so. Oh, well, yeah, I would amend it, yeah, thank you, sorry.
So I will amend my motion, instead of paying the whole the $19,754.40. We make this so
I
difficult.
know, that's what I mean.
I would actually leave it that amount and say contingent on an
Oh,
explanation.
yes, continued on an explanation for $6,456.70 from the road commissioner.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Your
you.
payroll was,
So will you authorize the board chair to sign the warrant so that we can release the invoices, and then you guys can sign the balance at the next meeting?
I
You
think,
can use
no,
my stamp.
I think we, I mean, as I understand our,
What do you mean you don't have it anymore? It's in the vault.
anyway,
Are you sure?
It better be in this office, because if my stamp is moved away from this building, I'm gonna be very upset.
I don't know.
okay, well, fine.
Find it.
Okay.
Let's move.
But yeah, my understanding was that the motion we made was to approve them
Okay, so
contingent
you're
on an
signing it.
explanation.
Got it. Okay.
So that if there is not a satisfactory explanation, then that would be pulled, but if there is, then we all signed, we're good to go.
Okay, very good. Okay.
And when you find my stamp,
I'll text you.
I will come down and pick it up.
That's fine, I'm not using them.
No,
I mean, I'm not gonna use them.
No, that's fine. I
I'll
just,
either drive around and get your signatures or none at all.
okay.
We have is this about signing something?
I don't know that I
On a
signed
timely
the,
basis?
I signed the payrolls, but not the other
Sorry,
ones.
that took the wrong way.
It says the chair.
When you're done.
What did I?
I sort of was.
Oh,
Yeah. So the next item, excuse me, on the agenda is communications.
Okay. So that's all circulating around?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
direct pays this week, so that's just a little one more. You received a letter from on the 25th of January from the State of Vermont Department of Housing and Community Development. The village center designation for Algiers was renewed successfully, so it has that designation for another 5 years.
And we have a tickler for 2021 that we need to update it again.
There was a memo on the 28th of January from Wyndham Regional Commission. The review and approval, consideration and confirmation of Halifax's town plan. There'll be a public hearing on February 16th at the Halifax Town Office at 6:00 p.m.
How often do towns go to other towns and weigh in on their town plans? Yeah, it's a nice formality, but I don't remember anybody ever coming and, Okay.
Chance to send one out anyway.
Yeah, it gets sent to all
Yeah.
voters.
Okay. I just was curious if that happens much.
There was a letter, January 2016, from Prevent Child Abuse Vermont. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. They're encouraging the town to do a pinwheel garden and to have the town sell pinwheels for $1 each. There's a postcard from Vermont League of Cities and Town for the Spring Select Board Institute, which will be Saturday, March 12th in Montpelier.
And did you say that there's a second session like that
Yeah, there's
later in the
usually one
year?
and two, yep. I don't know when the second will be offered yet. I would imagine closer to town meeting day, they'll probably have that date. Vermont League of Cities and Towns newsletter each month, February's 2016. If anybody wants to read it, it is available online, and I have a hard copy if you want to read it.
Maybe Dick wants the hard copy.
I think didn't we get that in the mail at home?
I don't know.
We don't?
Yeah.
I
Used
don't.
to.
Yeah,
Used
we
to.
do, still do. At least I've seen it.
I don't. I get it electronically.
Maybe I'll
but-
get electronically.
Thank you.
So I would make a motion to adjourn, just reminding, and just for the question, do we want to meet, and maybe I'm being premature here, but I was wondering if we wanted to meet before pre-town meeting, or a few minutes before, or if we're good to go.
A few minutes before, we really just stumbled through it anyway.
Sorry.
Do I hear any burning need for a meeting on a pre-town meeting on
5 minutes, maybe 10, yeah, 18.
18th. 18th?
Yeah, don't scare me.
It's next week.
I know that.
It's Thursday, yeah.
So, did you move to adjourn?
I did make a motion to adjourn, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
You're all set. You
I'm
don't
all
need-
set, I think, yeah. I went home without me, you're not gonna get through.